You guys see this? You guys see this lighter? Are you for real? This is like the camera isn't picking it up, but this is like a mini torch. That was so aggressive. I apologize. I refuse to do this video without my candle. Okay. Apple cinnamon, guys. All right. I also have a chair now. I am a proper human being now with a proper, chair. And it's a swivel. Ooh. Anyways, I'm talking about ADHD today. And I want to talk about what ADHD. Hello, this is tilted. I want to talk about what ADHD feels like in your bones, okay? Because this video is so chaotic. I apologize. This video is so chaotic already. But I want to talk to you guys about what ADHD feels like in your bones because I feel like people talk about the symptoms of it, what it looks like, but they don't explain how it feels. And so I want to tell you guys how. Oh, I can already tell this chair is gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a big problem. I'm gonna be fidgeting all video. I apologize. Okay. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, I think feeling in your bones. Yeah. So first of all, so a big thing for me when I was a kid, that should have been a sign. Well, I guess this can also kind of be a sign of trauma or something too. But I had always known if people were safe or unsafe when I first met them. And what I mean by this is like literally since I can remember, since I had consciousness, when I meet people, when I meet strangers, or if I meet a big thing, huge thing is meeting friends of friends or my friends' boyfriends. Immediately, I could always tell, like subconsciously, without even like thinking, like, oh, is this person cool or not? I could tell if they were safe or unsafe. Like if they were a good person or a bad person. And I thought about this, and I realized that it is a we're so freaking good ADHD people at pattern recognition. And I talked about this in a different video too. It's also an autistic thing. But we are so good at seeing hidden cues in people, and we're actually really good at reading body language. For me, because I'm ADHD, I had to train myself a little bit for the actual like stupid social ones, the stupid social rules because they don't make sense. Um um this video is so chaotic. Anyways, I think this is the most scattered video I've made so far. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, so that's why this is happening. But yeah, so this was actually a big thing with my friends. Because I was not a big fan of a lot of my friends' boyfriends, and lo and behold, later on they ended up cheating or being awful people in general. And I told them, by the way, if you are dating somebody and all your friends, even most of them tell you that this partner is not it, trust them, okay? Your friends have some of the best advice ever. They know you, they know what you need, and most of all, friends can see you from an unbiased perspective in a way that you can't. We're very, very biased as people towards ourselves. Oh my god, I feel like I can think at 1,000 miles a minute when I'm in this chair. Before I just had like this little ottoman thing that didn't even have a back, and now I feel like my neurons are firing. Like, anyways, okay, let's go on the second one. So second, not understanding people when they talk to me, especially when I'm tired, stressed, or what was the other thing? A lot of noise around. So this happens all the freaking time at work. I will be at work and somebody will try to talk to me. And all I hear is that's literally what I hear, even though they're right in front of me. The volume is fine. That's the thing. Like the volume, like it's like the volume I'm talking to you guys right now. Usually it happens when I'm doing something and then somebody interrupts me, or if I'm like deep in thought and somebody interrupts me to say something to me, or if we're like actively walking somewhere or something. This literally happened today. There was a coworker of mine just asking, he was making some joke, and it's so awkward when you have this because if somebody's trying to make a joke, right? Like today, this happened with me. One of my coworkers that I love, that's a funny guy. He was trying to make a joke with me, and I was just like, "Huh? Huh? What did you say? What?" Because I literally could not understand him. Like what he was saying to me was so simple. It was like it was some one-line joke. And it ruined it because I kept asking him. He had to repeat the joke over and over and over. And then I think I literally asked 3 times. And then I finally got it. But yeah, this is actually the downside of ADHD. There are a lot of things that I'm going to talk about on this channel in general, but also in this video of how to use these things to your advantage. I'll probably make a video on itself on that because I got way too much stuff to talk about today. But yeah, if you're neurodivergent, you actually you'll notice this once you start realizing what you can do. It's actually a huge advantage, and you need to use that. Use that, okay? Because not everybody is neurodivergent. And not everybody has the hyperfixation and awesome oh my gosh, what's the name? Focus that you do. That's exactly why my small business I feel like is actually doing very good right now. I won't lie. Because I dedicate my life and soul to it because it's my hyperfixation and we work at like 175% when we have a hyperfixation compared to neurotypical people who have um the same word hobby. There we go. Okay. Third, when I'm talking to people, they always think that something is happening behind them because I realize like people my whole life when I'm talking to them, they'll kind of like look behind them thinking that there's something behind them and I didn't really connect the dots until I started working with my best friend and we work as hosts at a restaurant and she would consistently like literally every like 2 minutes look behind her and I was like what is this girl doing? Like she's like it was like she was keeping her head on a swivel like in survival mode or something. And so I started to think and kind of look at myself from the third perspective and realize what was happening right before she did it and I was looking off. Like I was looking off because I was thinking. And that's the thing, like ADHD people, we think the only way that I can properly think is if I entertain my brain with something else. Like if I'm focusing on one single thing, it's really hard for me to focus on that one thing. Like if I'm talking to somebody and this is why it's I've had a lot of problems also with autism with making eye contact with people and a lot of people have a problem with it and that can cause problems because they'll be like hey look at my eyes or something like that like my teachers and stuff when I was a kid and then I look at your eyes but then I'm not listening to you because I'm so focused on just looking at you in the eyes that basically okay I'm gonna tell you guys what the dialogue is in my head because this is another thing that I have a narrator in my head 24 freaking 7. I think when I'm talking I don't because I'm talking but if I'm not talking, then I definitely have one. Um, what was that point I was on? Something about teachers. How did I just lose that? Something about teachers talking to them. Something this. Sorry guys. I felt that was a really good point, but I just completely lost it. Dialogue. Wait, I don't know. I'm sorry, I lost it. Okay, next one. Um, I've also been told when I'm talking this video has had a lot to do with talking to people and what I experience when I'm talking to people, but I've also been told that I have a resting face. I'm not gonna swear, but RBF face, and or I look sad. Like people have come up to me all the time. This used to happen especially when I was in school because I had more friends. High key. Yeah, making friends like after you leave high school kind of sucks. But yeah, I've been told that I look sad or mad or something when I'm just existing. Like I'll just be reading a book or I don't even just a lot of times even at work, this happens a lot at work actually because I entertain myself a lot. Like I don't like to be on my phone and stuff unless if I actually have a purpose to be on my phone. Like I don't doom scroll anymore because first of all, I realized that it makes my ADHD way freaking worse. Like I suddenly have the attention span of a rat, and so I stopped doing that. I deleted all my social media actually, but that was where was I going with that? Full life resting. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. So when I'm just like standing there, a lot of times at work, when I'm at the host stand, I'll just stand there and just think about stuff. And a lot of times I'm looking out because obviously I'm not like gonna close my eyes and just think about stuff there. Like I'm gonna be looking around. And a lot of times I get so deep into stuff. I think about actually my ideas for these videos come from me. Usually I'm at work and I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking for like 30 minutes straight and I go down this rabbit hole. Um oh my gosh. We need to talk about rabbit holes actually. Okay, this is me watching back the video and realizing that I totally completely missed the point that I was trying to make and just went on to the next one. Uh I was trying to make the point that at work or anywhere, people think that I look angry or have RBF or look sad or something because I get so deep into my thoughts that I forget that I exist. Like I basically forget that people can see me. I don't even realize that I'm physically there. I'm just so deep into my thoughts. So a lot of times I'm looking like this, off into the distance because I'm thinking so hard, and so people think I'm like angry. A lot of people have come by and been like, "Are you okay?" Because I'm like leaning on the thing and just I look sad. But yeah, that's the point. Okay, let's keep going on with the video because that just sparked something. There's also this thing I talked about having hyperaphantasia too, which is having a hyper imagination in like a past video. But there's this thing that happens with me that I thought was also normal until some other ADHD person talked about it. But you like go into these fantasies, and that sounds kind of, you know, wishy-washy. But you go into like these fantasies and very long story plots all the time. And the thing is I can't stop myself from doing it. Like um let me explain what I mean. So, for example, I might be driving down the road, like going to my job or something, and suddenly maybe there's like a car in front of me, and it's a big semi or something, and there's like logs in the back. The back of the semi is carrying logs, like going somewhere, and they start breaking. And normally somebody would just like kind of break and be like, "Oh, wouldn't that be crazy if those logs fell out of the truck?" And it kind of just ends there, is what I've heard from other people. But with me, um, I because my imagination is so overactive and it's just so busy all the time. What ends up happening is I'm gonna walk you through exactly what I think. So I'm sitting there, I'm driving. The truck starts to break. Then I'm thinking, oh my god, what if those logs fell out? And then I vision myself. I literally envision myself in the car. The truck brakes too hard. The binding on the logs snap. The logs come back. They crash through the windshield. They impale me. I skirt all over the road. I go into a ditch. The car flips. There's smoke. There's fire. And then, I'm gone. And then I think about like, oh, what would the paramedics do when they got there? What would all these people around me do? What about that car right next to me? How would they react in the crash? Which way would they go? Like, and this is like a tangent that I just go on. And the thing is, I'm not sitting there and I'm thinking like I'm bored. Let me think of something. It just happens. And it's kind of a bad thing when like me and my partner will be talking and I'll start going on one of these little tangents in my head. Like it can be sparked by anything too. That's the really frustrating part is literally anything will cause it. I could literally be staring at a white wall and I think of some kind of tangent to go down. Um but it can be a problem when I'm talking to people and that happens and they kind of just slowly like they're like la 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 la. They slowly fade off into the distance, but I don't even realize it's happening. And then suddenly, a whole minute of them talking about something important has passed, and I've been in La La Land, and I haven't even heard them. That's the thing too. Like, all I don't even know if I think what I hear if I can remember, if I like when I'm in these situations, all I hear is like that's what I hear. But I don't. It's so weird. It's so hard to explain. But if you have ADHD, I think, or if you think you might have ADHD, I think you can relate to it. But next. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. There's always a narrator in my head, even for my thoughts. Oh yeah, so the way that I realized this, and this might be the way that you realize it too, because before, I had heard people that had, I knew I had ADHD. I had heard that people had this, but I was like, I don't know if I relate. Like, I don't really know if that's me. And I didn't realize it until I tried to meditate one day. I tried to like just sit, and this could be a product of our very fast modern life where we are constantly entertaining ourselves. We're always on our phones, always doing something. I'm always doing something with my hands. Like, I do a lot of crafting and artsy stuff. Gross. No, not gross. It's actually kind of awesome. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the way I figured it out was I tried to meditate one day, and the way that they tell you to meditate is just to think of nothing. Like, to just sit there and just clear your thoughts and think of nothing. And I was like, okay, that's too hard. Like, I tried doing it, and what would end up happening is I would have to think of a white wall, because if I thought of nothing, things would start to come into my mind. And I think this is a product of also having like a very vivid imagination, but because I would think of not thinking of anything, but then I'm thinking of something. And then I'm going down a rabbit hole of like, oh my god, it's just bad. It's just bad. Yeah. So that doesn't work. So, I ended up having to just see a white wall and just like not think of anything else. And it's really, really hard. It only usually lasts about like 2 minutes, and then, thoughts keep flooding in. But yeah, so that's how I realized that. Next is chasing dopamine. And I never realized that I also chase dopamine. Because you see all these people that are like jumping out of planes, or um doing motocross, or doing these crazy dangerous things, and we call them dopamine chasers. But the kind of like silent sufferers of this are ADHD people. Um just regular, like, everyday people who are chasing like these tiny, very subtle dopamine hits. And what I mean by that is, like, for me personally, the way it shows up is I'm always finding a new hobby. Um, so for example, I've tried pretty much every single sport there is, either like on a team, or I just tried it on my own, like with my family or whatever. Like, me and my family used to play baseball and stuff, but I tried pretty much every sport because I would get bored of them. I always wanted to try something new too. But I also have tried pretty much every single craft that you can do. Like, that's my biggest hyperfixation in life, I think. I've also done a lot of different jobs. I also job hop a lot, because unfortunately, this is gonna sound really bad, but this is an ADHD. This is one of the downsides of it. Is I get bored of jobs very quickly, especially if the management is bad. And we're going to talk about this later too, but a lot of the reason for this is micromanaging, and that is like the worst thing you can ever do with an ADHD employee ever. So if you're a boss, if you even have anybody below you that you are in charge of, do not micromanage. Really work on that, because it irks everybody, but it actually physically stops ADHD people from doing the job correctly, because there's something called demand avoidance, if you guys know about it. Um ADHD people especially tend to have this, is when somebody tells you to do something that you might already be doing, or you're going to think of doing, or you are about to do, we suddenly feel like a strong urge to not do it. And I don't know the science behind this, but it's like it's a real thing. It's a scientific thing that happens in our brains. And micromanaging is the killer of ADHD um drive at work, or even in anything. So that's why you'll notice, like, when you were a kid, or if you're still living with your parents and they told you, like, you were about to go sweep or take out the trash or something, and they told you to go do it, and you were literally actively on your way to do it. Now you're like, oh no, I don't want to do it. And so that caused a lot of problems with me and my parents. And this isn't to be confused with laziness because there's a very thin line. What that is that the right saying? No. There's a very fine line. Thank you. Between I don't know why I said thank you like you guys are here with me, but um there's a very fine line between laziness and demand avoidance because it's very easy also I feel like I'm going on a lot of tangents today, but I feel like it's very easy to dismiss bad behavior as ADHD because you know, a lot of people get irked by if they're going to go do something and somebody tells them to do it and they're already doing it, you know? Everybody gets irked by that. But the difference is ADHD people, it's like an itch. Like it's an itch to not do it. And it's kind of like when you have to sneeze. Um and imagine if you had to hold that sneeze in. Like that's how it feels. Like that's the feeling of it. But I feel like I had more to say about that, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, with the chasing dopamine thing, because I have so many hobbies, but I also get super freaking deep into my hobbies too. Like when I was still living with my parents, I'm 20 now. I moved out when I was 18. Um, but when I still lived with my parents or with my mom, I would get so insanely deep into my hobbies. I would literally be in my room for about like 7 hours straight, just making jewelry or drawing or working on this one weirdly specific thing I needed to do, or that once in every like 2 or 3 months deep cleaning session where I suddenly had the strong urge to go clean, and so I literally overhauled my room, change the bed, change where the bed was. Like that's another weird thing that I have is I when I get in the cleaning mood, I am like desperate to clean. I'm like it's like my what do you call it, life's purpose to clean when I get in that mood. But next, I've always also been more connected to animals than people. And this is, it's a very well known thing for neurodivergent people to be like this. But I feel like nobody ever talks like about why that is. And for me, I think the explanation is that especially neurodivergent people, we're based on, merit and loyalty and being a good person. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't. But animals are. Like especially like dogs, cats, they don't have these ulterior motives and stuff. So I've always gone along with animals well. They also seem to like gravitate towards me. And that's not me just, tooting my own horn. It's like if I go over to somebody's place and their dog or cat, whatever, is known to not like people, that they'll just kind of like crawl up into my lap and stuff. And it has everything to do with your, confidence in yourself as a person too, because animals sense that too, which is something that humans can't, which is very interesting. But I could go into a whole tangent about that, about how we've kind of like moved away from our, natural like, oh, what's it called? Our primitive feelings, like connection to nature and, like the energies around us. That sounds so wee woo, but that sounds so like magical and whimsical, but it's not. Okay. Next. I've always had to put things in my path to remember to do them, or yeah. So like for example, with my jewelry business, I usually will sit down and make a bunch of orders, blah blah blah, package them, everything. But I will always forget them. And this is for like everything in my life. If I have to do something like bring the packages out to the mailbox, I will always forget unless if it's in my path. Like I have to actively step over the thing to actually, get outside. Like I have to put my dirty laundry in front of my door. So I have to physically touch the thing and move the thing, and then like, "Oh, that's there." But if I put it, you guys can't see this right now, but my door is right here. If I put that laundry basket that's right there to the right of the door, I will not even see it. I will walk out this door and not even know that the laundry is in a different place than it was before. Usually, if it's like if I'm in a rush, if I'm which I usually am for some reason. But yeah, so with my small business, with I usually will make a bunch of orders, put them I will literally put them lean them against the door so that I can't open the door without them like getting smushed. And so I have to pick up the packages, then open the door, and then oh, look at that. The packages are in my hands. And now I just walk out the door and this BS that happens is oh my god, guys. ADHD is a monster. It's a demon. But I will have these packages in my hands and I will go downstairs to leave. And then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of starving right now. Ooh, I haven't eaten since, 9 p.m. last night and it's 3 p.m. now. So then I'm like, oh, let me just go over to the kitchen real quick before I leave. I grab some snacks and then I leave. I lock the doors on my way out. I'm getting in the car and then I realize, wait, something's wrong. And then I kind of take inventory and I'm like, crap, I left all my packages somewhere. And then I have to trace back all my steps and then lo and behold, I left them in the kitchen when I was getting my snack. And it's just stuff like that that is so annoying, man. Like it's really annoying, but um it's caused a lot of problems too. Like I've accidentally taken the car keys to my work when my both my car keys and our second pair of keys to my work when my boyfriend needed the car keys, and then he basically had to Uber like a whole like 40 minutes to his work because I accidentally grabbed both of them. It's just like stupid stuff like that, causes a lot of issues. But lastly, let me oh, by the way, I don't know what it is. I also go through like these periods of really 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 liking some particular food or drink. Right now it's pineapple juice. And it's because I got my wisdom teeth out like 2 months ago. And I actually drank about a gallon of pineapple juice every day. And it actually healed my wisdom teeth insanely fast. Like I went in back into the dentist and they told me that I was like a whole week ahead of healing, like on schedule. And I told them about me drinking so copious, illegal amounts of pineapple juice, and they kind of laughed. But it's true. It's an anti-inflammatory, and I also noticed that my skin my redness goes down when I drink it. But and then I got really sick of it. That's a thing too. I get really. Oh, we got to talk about food. I will freaking love a food. I will eat it every day for every meal. And then one day, suddenly, I'm literally actively eating it, and it's just repulsive. It's disgusting. And I just, I'm suddenly so against it. And this happens with like eggs. Eggs are a big one. I'll have like a mean need for eggs, and then suddenly they're so gross, and I only ate like 3 forkfuls, and then I either give it to my partner or I just throw it out, unfortunately. But um, that's what's happening with this pineapple juice, and I recognize that. I recognize that in myself. That that's also why I bought such a small little container. No, that's not the right word. Small little pack of them. I only bought like 6 of these cans because I knew that I might love them right now, but I'm not going to love them in a week because I get sick of things very fast. And we were talking about in a past video about food partitioning. So when I'm eating, if I have like 3 different things on my plate, I am very particular about making sure that I get a little bit of the food in each bite. And some people who are neurodivergent are the opposite. Like they will only eat, you know, one of those things at a time. So say if you have like mashed potatoes, chicken, and peas. I know a lot of neurodivergent people. I feel like most neurodivergent people, honestly, you're either one or the other, and you're very particular about it. Like you're very set in stone in your ways. You either eat things one at a time, and they can't really touch either, or you need the flavor and all the different, textures to keep your brain entertained, which is me. That's why I don't really eat plain ice cream. I don't eat plain, there's very few things that I would eat plain. I would eat mac and cheese plain. I would eat like mashed potatoes plain. But usually, like with ice cream, I pretty much exclusively eat Ben and Jerry's or some kind of ice cream with like chunks and texture in it because um, I get bored really easy. I would only eat, which this might be a hack for me to actually stop eating so much goddamn calories. I eat a lot. Well, now I don't because I'm cutting back, but that's actually a way for me to stop eating because because if I just ate like plain things, I'm not really interested anymore. And yeah, I feel like I eat for the entertainment of it. Yeah, I think eating is fun. But I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna watch this video back and see how the heck this went because I don't know if this even made sense. My brain, like today, is a really bad symptom day for me. Like I'm just all over the place. Yeah, my brain, like some the way I can describe these days that I have is my brain just feels really fuzzy and time goes by really quick too. Like I'll notice that I'll try and do something that's really important and it takes like a really long time to do because I just keep getting distracted. Or I'll just like go off and go into La La Land like I was telling you guys. And get into my own head and just think about the craziest, most obscure stuff. But yeah, I hope this helps someone out there. You know, if you think that you might have ADHD, maybe this video helps you. I was also, what the heck, guys? Because I started this channel a month ago, and there's already almost 4,000 of you right now in a month. In a month. And that's crazy to me. That's actually insane. I was not expecting, I was telling my boyfriend yesterday, I was like, I was actually telling him because my first video now is doing insane. It was about it was actually like this video but autism style, about telling you guys about like my symptoms and what I experienced and stuff and how I knew I was autistic. Um and it got, right now it's at 100,000 views. And I was thinking about it and I was like, if I was in a stadium of 100,000 people and I was talking like I was in that video, like I don't know, it would make me so nervous, and it's just so weird how the internet works. But yeah, that's it, guys. Go get yourself your favorite food. In honor of this video, go drink some of your favorite juice, or do something that you love today. Make yourself feel good today. And if you're having like a rough like ADHD day like I am, then your solution, go take a nap. Don't scroll on your phone, please, I beg. It's just gonna make it worse. I know that it feels like when you sit down to scroll on your phone, it's like, oh, I'm giving my brain a break. You're not. You're not, okay? It's making it worse. Sit down, do something that's low energy. Very grounding, okay? Okay? Alright. I'll see you guys next time.